All right, class. Bonjour. Welcome to class today. Sorry I couldn't be there. I have training this morning at the high school. So the first things first is you should be turning in your homework, which was that negation sheet. So that should be the first thing that you've already done. But if you haven't, make sure you put your name on it and turn it in. Now we're going to use your notebook. We're going to use your notebook a couple of times today. So make sure that you keep it out. So first things first, we're going to do just a little bit of a review since you had a long weekend to forget a little bit of stuff. We're going to review how to make a sentence negative. So in your notebook, just get a nice clean page, and you're going to number it from 1 to 7. I sit. And you have several different sentences, and you're going to make each one negative. So remember, to make them negative, you need 2 words. Remember that you need ne and pas. Okay, so we need ne and pas for both of these. And remember that it needs to be, let's see if I can make this bigger here. Yeah, here we go. We need ne and pas. Okay. So, remember that ne and pas have to do what? They have to go around the... Remember? Hopefully you remember that it has to go around the verb. Okay? So, just remember that it has to be like a sandwich. We have ne, and then verb, and then pas. So, for each one, let's go real quick and see if we can't figure out what the verb is for each one of these sentences. So, for number 1, we're going to just do number 1 through 3 together, and after that, you guys are going to do the rest and see if you got them right. So number 1, the verb should be joue. Okay. Number 2 is aimons. And number 3 is avait. So we're going to make these negative. So let's just do the very first one together. And then after that, you guys will do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on your own and check your answers. So the first one, remember, is going to be elle. And then you want to make it negative. So remember, the first word you got to use is either ne or n apostrophe. Because remember, our verb over here is joue. So because it's joue, we need to put the ne pas around that. So we want ne because joue does not start with a vowel. Elle ne joue, and then remember, we want to make a sandwich with the verb. So elle ne joue pas au foot. Okay. So you're going to do, for each one of those, you're going to write out each sentence in a negative sentence. Just remember that you're looking for things that have the n apostrophe, and you want to make a sandwich with the ne and pas. Remember, only the verb goes into the middle. Alright, so take a second, push pause, and then when you come back, we'll check your answers. Alright, so now that you've hopefully finished, we're going to go to the next slide. Just make corrections in your notebook. If you make a mistake, just cross it off and fix it. Don't erase it and fix it. I want to actually see where you were making mistakes. So next part, here we go. So for number 2, you should have said nous n'aimons pas. Remember, you want to use the n apostrophe, les maths. And then vous n'avez pas, again with the n apostrophe. Tu n'aimes pas, again with an apostrophe. Je n'aime pas, again with apostrophe. Il ne joue pas. So here, you actually can't use an apostrophe because of the J. So remember, we can't use that. And then the last one, tu n'as pas. Okay. And then going back up here, je n'aime pas jouer. Remember, even though this is the second verb, we only care about the first one, the one that we conjugated. So remember, this one is conjugated because the R was taken off, right? We don't have the R anymore. So now we have a conjugated verb. All right, so now that we have all that, we're going to take some notes. So you're going to get out your packet, and you're going to turn to page 25, 25. And it's going to look a little bit like this at the top of it. So it says indefinite articles and negation. So pause the video for a second, get out your packet, and start to take notes. Okay, so here we go. We are ready, and we are going to start by taking notes. So what is negation? It's when you make a sentence. Oops. we go. So when you make a sentence negative, okay? So all that means is it's a sentence that we have the ne and pas in there. Now, this rule only works when you talk about things that don't have to do about likes and dislikes. So, for example, anything that uses the verb aimer, this rule does not count. Okay, this is like you have something or you want something or you eat something. It's not about likes and dislikes, okay? So just remember that. This is not about likes and dislikes. This rule does not work. So that might be a good rule to, or a good thing to write down, is that with likes and dislikes, this rule does not count, okay? So now we know that negation is when you make a sentence negative, which we already know. So in a negative sentence that is followed by, ooh, see if I can figure out what's going on here. There we go. An indefinite article, which if you guys can remember, the indefinite articles are un, une, and de. Remember, there's only 3 of them. That might be good to write down right next to indefinite. The article changed to, oh, this is annoying. Sorry, guys. This is the first time using this. It's okay. Not my favorite, but it's okay. All right. All right, let's go here. Here we go. Turns to de, or the apostrophe. Can you guess which one you use when it starts with a vowel? The apostrophe. Okay. So all this is in English, when we say, for example, I don't have a notebook, right? We can see this example down here. I don't have a notebook. In French, what they say is, I don't have any notebook. So think of like the D-E, D apostrophe, to be the word any in this situation. So they use it even when it's singular. So in English, it sounds really weird to us. I don't have any notebook, but that's essentially what it is. So here it says the teacher doesn't have a screen. In English, we say a screen, but in French, they can't say a screen, because remember the word for a is either un or une, and those can't be in a negative sentence like this. So instead, they use the D apostrophe. Okay. The other thing is, when replacing the plural indefinite article, the de or the D apostrophe means any. So it literally does mean any for these ones. In English, we don't always say it. Like, it makes sense to us to say, I don't have any pencils, like this right here. Don't have any pencils, totally makes sense, right? But in French, we can all, or in English, we can always say, I don't have pencils, right? That makes complete sense. We totally understand it if we say, I don't have pencils. But in French, they say, they always have to say, je n'ai pas de crayon. I don't have any pencils. You don't have any computers, or you could say you don't have computers. Tu n'as pas d'ordinateur, the D apostrophe because of the O. All right, so does this make sense? It's just a small rule. It's not a huge deal, but it's a small thing that it's making you just a little bit more fine-tuned with your French. So is it something that if you walk up to a French person, you're like, je n'ai pas un crayon, that they're going to be super upset with you and not know what you're saying? They're not going to like walk around and tease you, okay? Instead, they just ignore it and they would keep talking to you. So, but this is something that we're trying to refine our French skills. So this is a good skill to do that with. So there's one last rule here. Okay? And the last rule is that if you have a negative sentence followed by a definite article, which remember that the definite articles are the le, la, l'apostrophe, and les. So if one of those is followed right behind that ne and pas, then we don't have to do anything. We get to leave it in there. Because think about, even in English, we say, I don't have the book. Like, that makes total sense. He doesn't have the book, meaning there's a specific one. So we just leave the le in there. Which is also why it makes sense why, when we talk about likes and dislikes with aimer, that this rule doesn't work. Because most of the time when you talk about likes and dislikes, you use the le, la, and les anyway. For example, if you say like, I like pencils, you would say, j'aime les crayons. Okay? So that's the same thing. So, with the les. Now, at the very bottom of your page, you have some practice. It says, lisez les phrases et encerclez les articles. Vérifiez si l'article est correct. Read each sentence and circle the articles. Check to see if the articles follow the rules. If they do, leave the sentence alone, but if they don't, you got to fix them. So, take a minute, look through each one, and find the article. Remember, articles this time could be le, la, l apostrophe, les, but you could also see un, une, or des, but remember that these would be incorrect because in a negative sentence, these ones can't exist. So in their place, you should see either de or d apostrophe. Okay, so pause the video for a minute and do the couple. You think there are, let me see if I can move this thing here. There are 7. So there are 7 questions. So do the 7 questions and then pause this, come back, and I will show you the answers, okay? Okay, so hopefully you have finished. So at this time, we are going to look and see what the answer should be. So in the very first one, you should have said that it was les élèves n'ont pas de devoirs. Okay. The next one is Paul n'aime pas les maths. Number 3 is je n'ai pas de poubelle. Tu n'as pas d'ordinateur. Vous n'avez pas les feutres. Sarah n'a pas de feutres. And then ils n'ont pas de classeur. So what do these mean in English? This one just means the students don't have any homework tonight. Paul doesn't like math, because remember, this is a like, so it's okay because we're not worrying about this rule if it's a like or a dislike. Je n'ai pas de poubelle. I don't have any trash cans. Tu n'as pas d'ordinateur. Do you have a computer? Because this, remember here, is only one, so it's not do you have computers, it's do you have a computer. Or you don't, sorry, this one. You don't have a computer. Vous n'avez pas les feutres. You don't have the markers. It's the markers, so we're okay here. Sarah n'a pas de feutre. Sarah doesn't have a marker. So remember, in English we say a, but here they say any, but it's still just one marker. And then, ils n'ont pas de classeur. They don't have any binders with yes. Okay? So, hopefully this is going well. For the next part of this, you're going to be working in your notebook. Okay? And you're going to be writing a sentence. I'll give you an example here. So in your notebook, you're going to write, the title is Negation and Articles Practice. And I'm going to give you, I will do the first one kind of, you can see what it looks like here. I'm going to give you a sentence like this, okay, in the gray. And there will be a big black box over top of the answer, like that, okay? So your job is to take this sentence right here and to turn it negative with a focus on your article to make sure either to change them to de or d apostrophe if needed, or leave them alone. So remember, the rule is you can't have oops, that's a bad N, sorry, une or des in a negative sentence. Wrong, can't do that. So for an example for this one, it can't be elle a des livres because des is in that rule. It cannot be there. So we have to replace it with either de or d apostrophe. So we look here and it's elle. So that means it's going to be elle a de or elle n'a pas de livres, right? So if we get rid of this box here, elle n'a pas, so make it negative. So we find the verb, put the ne and pas around it, make our little sandwich. And then we have to use de because the day could not be there. It's part of this rule. Okay? So, go through each one, make corrections. Remember, if you get something wrong, I don't want you to erase and fix it. I just want you to cross it off and fix it with a different color. So that way I can actually see where you're making mistakes. It's not going to hurt your grade if you make mistakes, but I want to see where you're making the errors. All right? So, as you go on, just do each sentence, make it negative, and I believe as we get a little bit further in, I'm going to give you the English and you have to write the French. Okay, so good luck and good job practicing. Okay, so you are on your way. Remember, for each slide to push pause between after you see the sentence, I will give 5 seconds before I reveal the answer. So make sure you push pause between each one, because you're probably not going to be able to write a whole sentence in 5 seconds. All right, so elle a les livres, make it negative. The answer is elle n'a pas les livres, because again, remember that les is not part of that rule. We can have les in a negative sentence. Next one. Nous avons des crayons. Nous n'avons pas de crayons. Remember, we can't have des in a negative sentence. So that means it has to turn into de. Nous avons les crayons. Nous n'avons pas les crayons. We don't have the pencils. I don't have a notebook, so this time you're going to have to write the French. So make sure that you watch out. Remember, have is that verb avoir that we've been working on. Remember the song, j'ai, a, I, tu, a, s, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, il est, elle, ont. Alright, so that's our verb to have, so make sure that you use the correct verb conjugation. You should have said, je n'ai pas de cahier. Okay, even though in English we say don't have a notebook, remember we can't use un or une in a negative sentence, so we have to replace it with this de. I don't have the notebooks. Je n'ai pas les cahiers. The notebooks. We're okay because les is not one of the indefinites. He doesn't have homework. Remember, the word for homework is always plural in French, so it's les devoirs. So he doesn't have homework. Il n'a pas de devoirs. So here, it's not saying that he doesn't have the homework, right? It's saying he doesn't have homework and in general. So in English, we could also say he doesn't have any homework. So that means it turns into de. That one's kind of a tricky one. He doesn't like homework. So watch out. This is about a like and a dislike. So remember that we can't use un, une, or des in a like situation or even a dislike in this case. Il n'aime pas les devoirs. Okay, remember we use the le, la, and les for these. They don't have a computer. Ils n'ont pas d'ordinateur. So here we have d'ordinateur. Remember, we can't use the un, une, or des in French, so it turns into that. They don't have any computer. Sounds weird, but it's how it works. They don't have the computer. Ils n'ont pas l'ordinateur. Remember, this is okay because it's the L apostrophe. You informal don't have headphones. Tu n'as pas d'écouteurs. So remember, we don't, in English, we can say you don't have headphones. We could also say you don't have any headphones, and that's that key word that the French always use that we can kind of choose when to use it. Okay, we went here. It's the same thing because of this word any, because in English we don't have to use this word, but you informal don't have any headphones. Ooh, trick question. It's the same answer. Tu n'as pas d'écouteurs. So remember, that's the exact same thing you do. Okay. Sandrine doesn't like the books. Sandrine n'aime pas les livres. I don't have the binder. Je n'ai pas le classeur. I don't have a binder. Je n'ai pas de classeur. Okay, so very nice job, guys. We're going to check over and just kind of show me what you did next class in your notebook. So make sure you hold on to it and bring it next class. If you didn't have a notebook today and just did it on a blank sheet of paper, then I highly suggest that you put that piece of paper in your binder and hook it right into your binder so that way you don't lose it between now and next class, because next class it's going to be worth points if you've got it done with your corrections. Okay. Now, for the rest of class, you may do the following. So first is you should probably write down your homework in your planner because we are going to have a planner check on Monday next week. Okay, so Monday next week is going to be another planner check. So make sure that you've got yours filled in. So your homework for tonight is your test review. Okay. You should write down also that you have a test on April 29th, which is a Monday. Also the day of your planner check. Okay, so the test review is your homework. You should be working on it for the rest of class. It is due next class. Okay, all of next class we will be preparing for the quiz. It'll be our review day. On the quiz review, it will also tell you what you'll have to be able to do on the quiz. So check it out. If you've been studying and you know your verb avoir, you know how to write negative sentences, and you know your classroom furniture vocabulary, you're gonna be fine. But if you still feel kind of iffy on some of those things, this is a good time to test it out with your review and see how you're doing. So you may, while you are working, and I will see you next class. Big thing is remember to fill out your planner with the fact that the test review is your homework and that you have a test on April 29th, which is Monday next week. So we have this class, next class, and then Monday we always do a Kahoot or a little bit of review before a test. Okay, so listen to music. Okay, this is okay. Yay. You can be on your phone after you have finished the entire review. If the sub has to ask you to put your phone away because you haven't finished the review, that's a problem. So make sure that you don't have your phones out. If you are going to listen to music, pick a song or a playlist and just play it. It shouldn't be a continuous checking to see if you have a new song that you want to play. Okay? If you finish with the review before the class is over, then always go back and check your answers. But you can then play on Quizlet to practice the vocabulary, or you can go online and take a practice quiz. Okay, on Quizlet as well. So both of these are on Quizlet. But the one thing that you need to do today before the end of class, before you leave class, is you need to fill out the exit. Because students, if you have it that is found on Power School Learning on the home page, and it's underneath the thing that says sub-directions for 4-23. You need to do the exit ticket. Okay, it's showing me whether or not you understand your articles in a negative sentence. So do it without notes. So notes are no. Do it without friends. So no help from friends. No. Okay. So do those things and you can stay quiet. You can always email me. I'm just at the high school. If I have my computer open, I will try to respond to you as quick as I can. All right. Bye, guys.